Greetings, BookTube. Tonight, I will be comparing The Iron Heel by Jack London with Lord of the World by Robert Hugh Benson. I had both of these books printed out from the internet and bound at the print shop. If I have real books, if I've been given the chance, I would buy them. But this is what we have to work with, so it is what it is. Now, both of these books are published around the same time, Lord of the World in 1907 and The Iron Heel in 1908. And both can be contenders for the world's first dystopia to feature an evil government. Now, I will briefly cover what they are about, each book is about, very briefly, before drawing comparisons between the two. So The Iron Heel tells the story of something called the Everhart manuscript, which is analyzed from a distant future society called the Brotherhood of Man. And this manuscript talks about the rise of something called an oligarchy. And this is because over time, over a period of a few years, the working class in America have an increased, shall we say, class consciousness, and over time there is an organic revolution that sprouts up. And the oligarchy is the capitalistic and reactionary force that suppresses the socialist revolution. The evil government that emerges from the existing institutions is called the oligarchy. And two tragic heroes, it's told from the first-person perspective. The manuscript is from the first-person perspective of Avis Everhart, who is the wife of Ernest Everhart. And they are leaders within this revolution, within this failed socialist revolution. And meanwhile, the future Brotherhood of Man is analyzing the manuscript. And this is when the socialist revolution has finally won, after a long period of time of the oligarchy holding power. And meanwhile, Lord of the World is an early end-of-the-world story, which was the forerunner to Tim LaHaye's very long Left Behind series and other last days futurist interpretations of the end of the world. And it depicts the rise of the Antichrist. The Antichrist in this book is called, what was his name? Julian Felsenburgh. And it also tells the story of the last pope, Percy Franklin, who later on becomes Pope Sylvester. So that's Percy Franklin is a doppelganger to Julian Felsenburgh. So they're lookalikes, and so in this book, this story takes place. It was published in 1907, but it takes place in the early 21st century, any time from 2001 to 2007 or 2010. 2007 at the latest, I would say. So this story takes place in the early 2000s, and it is the last day, and it tells the story of the rise of the Antichrist. And the world has become more and more secular, and most of the world's Abrahamic religions have died out, and the Catholic Church is a shadow of what it once was. So it's the Catholic Church is a remnant, and all the other Abrahamic faiths have died out, or have become so minuscule that they're even more irrelevant than the Catholic Church. And so this basically tells the story of the Catholic Church's struggle to survive in the last days, and the rise of the Antichrist, who brings about world peace. So that's what they're about. Now, these two books. Now let's go to the comparisons. These two books are mirror images of each other. Jack London was a socialist, and he is telling about the right-wing conservative reaction to a socialist revolution. And so this is a left-winger's perspective of the harsh reaction by reactionary forces. Meanwhile, Lord of the World talks about a world that's becoming more secular. This depicts this. How do I put this? The conservative concern, the Catholic conservative concern of people turning away from religion over time. Now, so they're mirror images of each other, and Robert Hugh Benson and Jack London were contemporaries. Robert Hugh Benson was a little bit older and died a little bit earlier than Jack London, but he was like, I believe, 42 or 43 when he died, and Jack London was 40. And so they were more or less the same age, and they died only a few short years apart from each other. So they are opposites. Anyway, Lord of the World does not have much to say to a non-Catholic audience. It was published mostly Catholic intellectuals talk about it today, and it was recommended by Pope Francis as very prophetic. And meanwhile, the Iron Heel is the forerunner to many of the other later dystopias. And Jack London has a very similar background to George Orwell as well, in some ways. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, both of these books depict the future. No, not depict the future. That's not the right word. Both have predictions for the future in some ways. They get a lot of things wrong, but they also get some things right. The Iron Heel predicted World War I, the stock market crash and Great Depression, and the rise of fascism. So this was published in 1908. So it predicted all of those things. One key difference, though, was World War I was stopped in this book because the working class refused to fight any wars that were fighting against other fellow workers of the world. Yeah. And so, yeah, it predicted those things. Meanwhile, Lord of the World predicted the drift away from religion in Europe. So we in the modern world are becoming more and more secular, and it's more and more acceptable to be an atheist. And what else was I to say? Oh yeah, and it depicts hot air balloons that bomb, so that drop bombs. So this book predicted bombing via airplanes, air bombers, and it predicted a more secularized world. And so yeah, it does have some accurate predictions, not that much though. Now, both of these books have their own flaws. Like this book is overtly religious, and so I don't appreciate it. And so Robert Hugh Benson suggests that the Freemasons are in cahoots with left-wing forces, are in cahoots with the communists. Yes, they worked. Freemasons are working together with communists to create a one-world government, which is in my opinion, absurd. And meanwhile, the Iron Heel, the tragic hero, Ernest Everhart, is a stand-in for Jack London himself. A lot of this book depicts the hero having debates with various people, like priests, for example, and capitalists, and as Joel Swogman says, he sets up these straw man arguments so that the hero can strike them down quickly, and they talk about how handsome he is and so on. It's definitely it's definitely a stand-in for Jack London himself. He really has an inflated view of himself. And also at the beginning of the book, it's like there's a spoiler immediately. Back then there was no concept of spoilers, but the book at the beginning already tells you how it ends, because it's from the analysis of a future society. So they immediately tell you that the revolution ends in failure. So these books are both deeply flawed, and a lot of you will not agree with Jack London's socialism, revolutionary socialism. I don't either, even though I'm in my politics center-left. And I strongly disagree with Robert Hugh Benson's ideas of, what was it? And his religiosity. I strongly disagree with it, as well as the idea that if without religion, humans will worship something. If it's not religion, it's the state. There's this idea that everyone's going to automatically worship, the book hints at it being supernatural, will automatically worship some kind of secular human leader and think he is above criticism. I don't think so. I don't think we are predisposed to worshiping even in absence of religion. I don't believe that at all. I do believe in us placing value in things, but I don't believe in us prostrating before some infallible leader. I strongly disagree with that. So, yeah, these books are early dystopias. If anyone can help me out with getting one of these two books, the real book, like on Amazon, help me in buying it, I'd greatly appreciate it. So yeah, I did mention earlier, they were forerunner. These books are very early dystopias that were trailblazers, even though they are, shall we say, very flawed texts. Yes. All right, thanks for listening in. Goodbye.